Good morning, folks. Welcome back, Steph. I'm going to give you hi and greetings and everything in just a moment. Whilst I have a quiet moment of pause, I need to warn you and apologize. We've been living, not quietly, with construction downstairs for weeks, maybe a couple of months now, and they've decided to add Saturdays to their work schedule now. So, no doubt, any second you're going to hear a jackhammer or a drill or something. I have my mic pack handy so I can mute myself when and let Steph take over when it gets really bad. But I apologize. This is the only hour we have this weekend that we can do the live show. So we want to get it done, and they just started construction an hour ago, so there's nothing we can do about it. So, fingers crossed they
Wow.
have a power outage or decide to go for an early morning tea. How are you, Stephanie? How was your week? I know you just got back home after being off site filming for ages. And as
I
I
am
ask that,
surprised.
I am now muting myself. Go for it. Tell me a story.
Oh wow, I'm surprised because I thought there was gonna be some like hammering going on as you're apologizing to everyone. But hi guys. I've had a very busy last 2 weeks. We had 4 days of complete night shoots and it was extremely exhausting. Me and the talent, Joey and Ange, like we basically watched the sunrise and it was very interesting. But we're working on another little short film. And I was super excited because this is the second time that I was able to do the Insta 360 live behind the scenes, and the live stream went on for like an hour and 20 minutes, which I was very much impressed because usually the 360 cam does not last that long. And it seems like everybody that did tune in for our patrons, they enjoyed it. And it was so cool.
I'm just jumping back in here. There was some drilling whilst I was off air. So is the 1 hour and 20 minutes? That's impressive because the connection normally dies, or it's a single battery charge
Uh,
is all you've got.
it's a single battery charge. So like for the Insta 360, it runs on one battery and it's kind of like weird. You have to plug it into your phone in order to go like live stream. And because the port that you're using is also the charging port, you can't necessarily charge it and stream at the same time. So yeah, but it lasted for a very long time. People got to see us like produce content behind the scenes, and it seems like most people kind of prefer that rather than me posting up clips on our Patreon. So if any of you guys are interested in seeing the other things that I do, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/artschool dropouts.
Now, without
Art
sounding
school
like your
dropouts.
father, brother, or agent, I would even say the other stuff you do, this is, hanging out with me and taking the occasional photo shoot and nudie shoot is your other stuff, and what you've just been doing is your stuff. So it's a big part of Steph's life. Hey, you might want to check out something like this, not this exact one, but a lot of
Oh.
the dongles will have a double port and one allows power pass through and the other one takes data out. So that might let you get past your time limit.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out and like see what I can do. But so far, everything is doing pretty good. It was just a very exhausting and stressful week. I was manning the gimbal the whole time and I was so extremely sore. I think I was way more sore than the actual performers because they were perfectly fine. I was like, I am dying right now. I'm shaking as I'm
Well, because
holding the
they're going
gimbal. It's
through
like,
all the
ugh.
movements, whereas you're trying to lock a dozen muscles in place. Thank you to everyone who's
Uh,
chiming in now. Hi, Rob, Sean, Leslie, Nilbert, Philip. Hi, everyone. Again, if you've just joined us, I apologize. I'm going to be muting myself here and there because I have construction going on downstairs. I don't think you guys have heard it yet, but there's constant drilling. Well, not constant, obviously, but sporadic. Now, before we get in and take a look at your the entered shots for this week's wedding competition, let me just jump over to the live page as a reminder for those who may be new to the channel. Let me just show you. Oh, but I need to remake something real quick. I was just going to show you uh, the live page, which
oh.
I can do here. Up, there's the drilling. You're welcome. I apologize again. There is nothing that I can do about it, unfortunately, and it's going on for months, and it's ruining my life. I actually have considered renting a third-party studio just to be able to get quiet days. But sorry, this all looks a bit janky because I just rushed making this live page. But so here, mattgranger.com/live, this is where you can go each week to find out what the details are. I get a lot of people on social media asking, and I do my best to reply to all of you one-on-one. But if you're ever not sure, here I will update when the next show is on, what the theme is, and all of that good stuff. And it's usually that I want the shots around 4,000 pixels and max 10 megabytes. But if I'm on the road, I might ask for it to be smaller so that we can work more nimbly. And so for next week, oh, I thought I had already updated it. The page must have died. I'm making it street photography. So once this show is ended, I will update it to be street photography. And a reminder that here is a link to my new website. Let me just give you a quick little look, which is now live and has all of my non-nude content. I'm really happy to be able to split that out. I realize that you don't have to be a prude or a fuddy-duddy to not want to have boobs popping up on your screen in the middle of your workday or whatever. So having them on separate websites keeps things nice and easy if you want any general photography like Wedding Photography 101 or presets or off-camera flash or all of that good stuff. That's over here at learn.mattgranger.com, and it's all 65 to 80% off this month because as a site launch. And then the art nude is learn.artnudeportraiture.com. And the Wedding Photography 101 course, I actually wanted to talk you through because it's, well, it is on sale and rah, 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 please buy our course. But with the theme being weddings, so I've shot lots of weddings. I know Steph and her production team have filmed several weddings, and they helped me film this one. So for this, for those who don't know, we basically staged Steph and Timmy. For those who don't know, and I'm sorry to break some hearts, but Steph, like me, is taken by, well, not like me, by the wonderful Timmy, but Timmy is Steph's long-term partner and husband. And actually, I don't want to, well, I'll do the little intro and then you can tell them the bigger picture. But at this point, they were engaged, but not yet married, and agreed to stage the wedding. And there was some, I don't want to share anything personal, so I'll leave that to you to fill in any gaps you're comfortable with, Steph. But there were some personal things in their family that meant doing a rehearsal wedding was actually good for them. So it was actually really nice. We had the parents and grandparents and some friends, but it was mostly actually extras that we had come along, which Steph loved because then she got to punk her friends into thinking she'd had a real wedding without them.
Yeah.
But so we had an entire bridal party, and we did all of, like, it was a real wedding. We had a celebrant and a $10,000 dress and an amazing location. So we had the men getting ready, the women getting ready, the setup photos, the actual ceremony, the reception, the couple photos, the group photos, the family photos, all of that stuff. So you really come along behind the scenes with us, but sometimes, like the ceremony, we do it twice. Once where I'm able to yell and interrupt the celebrant and say, now look, in this situation, you could go and stand here or here or here, depending on what background or angle you want, if you want this person or that person in the shot. And then we did it a second time in real time where they actually did it and I just shot it. So you get to join on a, it's kind of funny. I was thinking today that a real wedding is so much pressure because you can never do it again. I kind of felt like this was just as much pressure because all your friends and family were there on my request to pretend to have a wedding that I felt like I was kind of maybe wasting everyone's time. So this had to be good, and it had to be done in one take because they're not there for the payoff of actually seeing their princess get married. They're there to help her friend make a course.
Actually, they enjoyed it. They
It
liked
was
it
a
a
fun
lot. They were
day.
just like, "This is awesome." And they're like, "Wow, this is so cool. It's a different experience." Because I mean, it's not every day where it's like, "Hey, let's stage a wedding." You know, it's like you either do it or you don't. It's not really a thing. And punking my friends was just icing on the cake. It was people were very angry.
Well,
So if
that's
you
what it's
really
all
want to
about.
mess with some people,
Yeah.
I had some very angry voice
What the
messages and text
hell?
messages.
You got married without us?
You know damn well I would be at your damn wedding. Where the hell is my
We're
invite?
done.
Whoa.
So anyway, you can
Like
check that
it's not
out. There's
real.
links in the description. But the all of that prefacing is to
Preface?
say prefacing is to say that we appreciate
Preface.
you don't always have a studio. Fuck, can I speak? A wedding doesn't take place in a studio. It's not in a time vacuum either. So a lot of the things we would often be saying, like, oh, this is a bit off, that is a bit off, you have to be a little bit more forgiving on a wedding, because a wedding and the shoot of a wedding is a little bit like a relationship over the years, in that it just takes its own path and it evolves on the day. You can have a really set plan of these are the 10 things we're going to do on the day and in the order, and number two could run 3 times overtime, and the couple will just say, oh, that's fine, let's just skip 4, 5, and 6, and we won't do that location, and let's do this. And it just evolves on its own. So taking a look
You
at,
just need a father that does like a 15-minute speech.
yeah, for each table. Um,
Yeah.
so, for example, of all the shots we took, it's probably technically the worst, but this I think is still one of my favorite shots of the day, and I can't help but laugh when I think it back. Steph's mum trying to get the jewelry open, and they were both in tears having just had their makeup done. I don't even know if it had some special significance to them, but they were like about to pee themselves laughing so hard trying to get this jewelry on her. It was so sweet. And then I was laughing, and some of the photos are out of focus, but as a memory for them from the day, entering that into a competition is not a spectacular photo, but for the couple, or in this case the bride, it is a shot that probably would sell, that would surprise some people because of what was going on in the moment. So I appreciate we don't have that insight when we're looking at your pictures, so we'll take it with a grain of salt. Was there a reason why that was just so funny, or is it just that she's stubborn like you and didn't want your help?
I think it's both, but like my mom always cracks me up. Like she has like a particular laugh that I can't help but also laugh, but then she also knows that it makes me laugh, so then I laugh harder, and then we end up laughing so hard where I start tearing up, and then she finds that funny, and then it just kind of snowballs there. Yeah.
Family asphyxiation. Lovely.
It's very embarrassing in like public. Is this like what are you guys laughing at? You
Each
know what?
other.
Not even sure.
So
Not even
we'll
sure.
take you through and show a couple of the photos from our day here. Part of the reason we're doing this is as a preface, and so this is useful for people who haven't shot a wedding yet, which I'm guessing is quite a lot of you. I actually thought that wedding photography may have loads of entries, but we actually haven't had that many. So let's just give you a little overview first before we jump in. So this is probably a little bit more classic of a shot. Now I actually took this one, the classic shot here is the backlit door, longer lens, stepping further back, and then just isolating her against the door frame, so you just have the light wrapping around her. I got those shots as well, but I actually like this one having the pattern on the wall, giving the shot a little bit more depth. If it were to print, I think this one with the extra space around it would actually work better. If it were to share online, then the tighter one of just her open shoulders would be the nicer shot. Now, also, something that you can't control as a wedding photographer, and it seems as the bride, is the requests of some of the people involved in the wedding on the day, and some of the bizarre photos that come out of weddings that I'm sure there's been out, collections put online that you scroll through and have a laugh at. Oh my God, who would get their dogs dressed up in kilts and bonnets, whatever. But for example, this shot, whether Steph liked it or not, it was going to happen. Steph's father
Yep.
insisted there had to be a shot of Steph kicking Timmy in the face. So we had, I think,
Oh wait,
three.
Matt, apparently the pictures aren't showing up.
Oh, balls.
Technical difficulties. Sorry,
No,
guys.
it's not a difficulty. It's just me being not very good at my job. So, did you guys even see the one of the mum? Whoops. So, mum, Steph and mum laughing. Not technically great, but a fantastic memory. Um, Sorry about that, guys. Thank you for letting us know. Steph with the open shoulders, with the wall, trying to show, the longer lens shot, stepping further back, using like a 105, putting her just against the window, is, uh, maybe the classic shot, but here I really liked including the shadows on the right hand side. And then this shot, Steph's father, who I believe was the what's the right word? The motivating force for Steph's Taekwondo career when it first got started.
Yep.
Liked that a lot of the girls got this kind of a shot in their wedding and insisted that Steph get it as well. Timmy was a sport about it. He's obviously had a lot of shadow kicks thrown at his face in the past. I hope none with stilettos on, but he was a sport about it. And FYI, you might think that Steph is beautifully dressed and Tim's suit doesn't fit very well. That's because Steph's dress is something crazy like $10,000, and Timmy's suit I bought on Amazon for like $60. All of the men's suits actually. It was quite funny. We
Hey,
had
still looks good.
Timmy, who's I don't know how tall, but normal size and height, then like a 6'4" giant bodybuilder guy, and then another 6'2" Afro fella, and somehow the
It's
suits
really funny. Our
actually fit.
friends were like, "Who are these people? We don't know these people. Who are these friends you have?"
And it was like a, I don't know, like a modern United Colors of Benetton poster or something, because we had all different nationalities and all these people that you didn't even know being in your wedding party. It was nice. And so there you go. So I actually, it surprised, and this guy on the right, I've forgotten his name, but Carrot Top we'll call him. Dan? No, Dan was the other big guy. Anyway, he shoots in lots of weddings when they're staging weddings for different purposes. I see him pop up with the event planner that we were working with. Now, I shared this shot because this is a question that comes up a lot about why do people shoot weddings in black and white so often, and that it's kind of a waste. So here's the black and white version, and just take a look at the color version. So you might actually prefer the color version, but if you note this, the green dominates the scene, the blue then dominates the scene, then the bridesmaids' dresses in the back are more vibrant again than Steph. By turning it to a black and white, boom, her being in the lightest dress, now she's the one that pops out of the scene more. So generally, I think why black and white is used a lot for weddings is to abstract all that color and to focus your attention where you want it to be. So it's basically to simplify the shot. Yeah. Someone saying about the veil. So part of this course, I actually put together a list of the 100, it's actually more than 100, but the 100 must get shots on a wedding day. You'd be surprised how easy it is to miss things. So if you're like doing the women getting ready, the 5 different shots you need of that, and then the detail shots of these 5 things, then the same for the men, and then which different pairings for the group shots, and then, a portrait and a landscape of the couple is just 1 or 2 out of 100. It's not just the kiss and the rings that you need to get. There's so many shots that when you actually think about it, yeah, I should really get that. Having a physical list or a list on your iPad to check off is so much better because there's no way you can keep it all in your head. Okay, so that was the last one we shared, and a reality check. That one was in a muddy field. I think Steph was wearing trainers, lifting her expensive gown up out of the flowers on the side of a highway with power lines behind us to get a nice clear frame, and we hiked out to where the flowers were densest to get a shot that looked like we were in a field of wildflowers. But it's not really the case now. I just heard some more drilling, so I think it's about to
Oh,
come. So before we jump in and now review your photos, if anyone has any questions for this week's show about the entries, about photography, about what Steph's going on, about what I've got going on, about what I'm going to do to cut the power to the flat downstairs, leave us a question in the chat and we will get back to you. I think we only have something like 9 entries this week, so it won't take us too long to get through them. I'm going to mute
oh,
myself
it's about to
because
start.
there's the drilling, and we'll get Steph's opinion first on this first image. So I'll hold my mic back up each time to let you guys know that I'm muting myself on or off. So mute.
I think I can still hear you though, right? Ah, gotcha. Okay, so first image by Wait, are we saying names? Not yes or no. We are. Okay. Glenn Sumner wedding. um, I feel like if this was framed with them more centered, I think that the table and like the tablecloth to the left is a little bit too distracting for me. It's white. It also matches the dress of the bride. I think just having them more centered and them like centrally focused would be a lot better. And also I find that a lot of situations how the bride's hairs are usually done up, it kind of like will dictate how you should choose to shoot it because notice her hair kind of falls to the right side of her face. In this situation, I think you should have shot a little bit more over the shoulder of the groom a little bit just to kind of get her face in focus because you really can't see her face at all right now. But yeah, I think
I
that's
agree
all I
with
got
everything
for
Steph just
this.
said. Every time I mute this, the drilling stops, so I'll mute it on and off as it's getting bad. So a couple of
Okay.
things to keep in mind. Uh, as the photographer on a wedding day, you don't have complete control over the day, and in some regards, you're powerless. If somebody asks you to do something, I don't care about rank. If the wedding guy, the video guy, or the caterer, or the celebrant, or the mother of the bride needs help with something, if I have the time to stop and help, I'll help. There's no need to be precious about helping to move a box or something. It's a big effing day for everyone. Just do what you can. Having said that, I would have gone and scouted the location, spoken to the celebrant, seen where the light source is, and seen if there was the opportunity to have them move slightly. Like if the light source is behind her, does the hallway have to be right here? Could we have them standing on a particular angle? And as Steph said, for this kind of a shot, you have, like, the straight down, the top of the I'm thinking a basketball analogy, the top of the semicircle, or going 45 degrees around to shoot in at her face, or over his shoulder, all of those different options. So totally agree. But if this is the frame as you have it in the end, then I would bring in the crop from the top. You're also picking up what looks to be the chandelier there. And bring it in on her. Now, I don't really like to crop her dress that much, but at least this way it's tight on everyone and it looks intentional rather than she got cropped off kind of without good reason. And then I would also bring up the exposure a bit. Somebody asking in the chat, do you like black and white on this picture? I do, if nothing else. That the celebrant looks like he would be an optical illusion in color, wearing a patterned tie on a different patterned vest with a different patterned pocket chief, and then the wallpaper looks like it's going to be colorful and heavily patterned, and the carpet does as well. I think it would be one of those magic eye pictures where you would see a sailboat on the horizon if you stared at it for too long. I do think, however, that you could bring up the darks a little in this. That's one of the big challenges at a wedding, is that you're going to struggle with dynamic ranges, if nothing else, forgetting skin tones, with men typically wearing dark or black suits and women typically wearing light or white dresses. You have a dynamic range issue, and if she's closest to the light source, you're in real trouble. There's the drilling. So good effort, Glenn Sumner. I know it's difficult on the day, but if that's the shot you leave with, think about cropping it in to make the shot more balanced.
Yeah, I think communication is definitely key. If you have the opportunity to talk to like I guess everyone involved with the wedding, everyone has the same goal, is just to make sure that the wedding goes smoothly. And since, like for us, we do a lot of the video work, we always ask the photographers, like, hey, if we're ever in the way, just yell at us. Just like push us aside. We are fine with it, but you guys are the priority. You need the photos. For us, it's video. We could kind of like shoot other things instead. So that's kind of how we go about it. So next image.
So I totally agree with that, and not to make it sound like a union shop where it's us paid people against the guests. I don't mean that
Oh,
at
yeah.
all, but I'm the same, and I would also tell a videographer, because you don't know if it's their 100th wedding or their first, that if I'm ruining their shot, to yell and let me know as well to get out of it. And I will help out everyone. But I won't hesitate to ask a guest to sit down and put their camera down
Yeah.
if they're ruining my shot. If they're, I'll have that conversation with the couple. Do they want those kind of shots? Sometimes having 20 iPads in the air is a funny shot. But if someone keeps stepping in front of me, I'm sorry, Auntie Nellie or Uncle Victor, your shot isn't more important. They wanted you to be here and experience it, and they're paying me to be here and shoot it. So
Yeah.
you can have a copy of my photo at the end of the day. What do you think of this one of Itamar Tef? This is, well, I don't know. It looks like it was shot maybe at night under a floodlight or something.
I like this. It's a little bit overblown, but I know like during weddings, it's a lot easier just to kind of like have a big light, have it on the dance floor. Everybody can just dance around. It's a lot easier to just like take photos and like video that way as well. Um, but I do like the framing a lot actually. And the dress is really cool how it's all spread out and people are holding on to it. I think that's really awesome. I wonder if it's like kind of like a custom type of thing.
I don't
But
know. I think it may be part of a Jewish wedding. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that, yeah, holding the dress up like that is part of, it's done. It's something that happens at these
I
weddings.
like it.
Yeah. Pick. Reminder.
Oh
Feel
shit,
free to
yeah,
go in a
pick.
pick frenzy. It is slightly blown
Pick.
out. The test being that if you bring it down, the whites are just kind of going grey but staying really overblown. But as Steph said, it is really challenging, and I think I couldn't say that I've ever shot a wedding where I didn't get a shot where there wasn't whites blown out. And this may be slightly blown out on her dress too, Jerry Winterson's shot, but I really like it. I might bring it in a little from the left to simplify it just a bit, but pretty shot. What do you think, Steph?
I think it's pretty too. I want to see it in color, actually.
Well, I
I feel
don't
like the
have that
white just
option.
will pop out, but yeah. Um, but I
Except
like
that it
it.
could have been a peach colored dress or a lime green colored dress.
Who knows? Pick.
Oh, look, here we go. The pink bonanza is
Yeah, it's starting.
beginning.
Started. There's only 9 images. Oh, no, I need to
Fiesta,
control
fiesta.
it before I get
So
pick
I
all of them.
reckon a crop like that works really nicely. So there's your pick. Bringing the couple in on the intersection of thirds, it puts the bride right on it. It puts more attention on them. There's still plenty of space around them, but I think the that frame works better than our original one. Here's some more drilling, so I
I
will
love
go over
shooting
to Steph.
weddings. I love shooting weddings. We're the group of videographers that cry at weddings, and they're like, "Oh, do you not know the bride or groom?" Neither. We're just very emotional people. Um, oh man, this is pretty. So Jesse Ryan submitted this photo. I I like it, but I feel like the hands kind of dominate too much and like the arm as well. And maybe crop it in a little bit closer because I think the main focus is like the rings. I don't know. I like it, but I feel like you could make this better, and I don't know how. Matt, help me.
Here I am, darling. So first of all, Jesse, I read your one sentence description. This actually was a longer shot, and they think they preferred it longer, and they already brought it into like a 4x5 instead of a 4x6. I kind of agree with
Okay.
Steph though, but I think it could be better just don't shoot everything wide open. It's a real risk on a portrait shoot or a wedding shoot to shoot everything close to wide open or wide open. And here I think it could actually be better if we had some of the texture of the wood and her nails in sharp focus, because what's blocking the ring is blurry. So at least if we had her hands or the lead nails, I think would work better. Otherwise, actually, just having the rings and the flowers is the classic shot. I don't know if it would be better or worse, but it is a lot of arms in the shot. So if we kept it at a, like, and brought it into this kind of a crop, what do you think? That's, Steph probably can't see it, but bringing it into a landscape crop so we're getting the rings a lot tighter, that's an option. And I have to say, the construction hasn't been that bad. There's been days where I've been wanting to
Don't jinx it.
punch a wall. I don't believe in jinxing, and neither should you. It's almost as stupid as horoscopes. Sorry, personal rant.
Okay.
But yeah, some days it's just like non-stop jackhammering where you can feel the floor shaking and the cats are cowering under the bed for 8 or 10 hours. It's not fun. So thank you for your entry, Jesse. Now, Mark Grant. Here we go with a Gryffindor wedding of an owl delivering rings or something. So, what's the best way to explain this? This is not intended in any way as a criticism. This is just an observation about weddings. Weddings and any kind of event, there are shots that are technically brilliant shots that us nerdy photographers will appreciate. There's just beautiful, simple frames that work. There's the kind of thing that people want to frame. And then there's just crazy moments or interesting interactions that are almost impossible to get the perfect frame on. So there's just no point me talking about you should have taken 3 steps that way, changed to a different lens, use this, use that, because the frickin' bird flew into the frame. You have to grab the shot and your feet can't move too much. So it basically what I get from this is something really rare at a wedding. There's a damn owl being the page girl. The groom is obviously in on it. The bride is chuffed. The kid is excited. There's a lot of things with the framing that don't quite work, but will it make it to the album? Maybe. Will it make it to a printed photo on the wall? Probably not. But is it a great memory that the couple will treasure? Yeah, it is. So I don't know that it's a great photo, but I do think it's a great memory, and certainly better to capture it with all of the limitations that lead to imperfect photos than to think, I'm not in the right position, I just won't grab this shot. You have to grab the shot. There's a freaking bird at the wedding. We didn't have any birds. And Ben is right, it does look like the bird's going to swoop in and steal her bonnet or something, make a nest out of it.
I would be scared. Like, whoa, an owl?
I think your reflexes would kick in and you would spike it with your stiletto out of the air.
Birds also kind of scare me. I'm gonna just run away. What is this?
Cool. Nice one, Mark. Peter Easberg. What do you think of this one, Steph? Looks, I don't know exactly, like some South Asian wedding, maybe Indian?
It looks like it. I like it. I think I mean, obviously you can't really control this, but if you could direct them, I would say I would like to see her hands, because I think the artwork, like the henna that's like done, I always think that's like so really cool and intricate. But this, it looks like it's trying to focus on it, but also more so on the bracelets, and I feel like it just doesn't really work.
Totally agree. And Ben is saying the same thing. So first of all, I've shot, I think, one Indian couple's wedding, but Shravya, good friend in New York, has shot lots. And apparently Indian weddings can often go for 3 days. So I think you could step in and ask them to make an adjustment, because they're going to be sitting there for 2 hours. Now, I agree with both of you. The henna artwork is spectacular, but I don't know. It looks like this is where, so this is the limit of the resolution, but it looks like here this henna on her left wrist is the focus point, and I don't think it's enough. Again, too shallow. If you wanted henna to be the focus, you could focus right here. There's an area of the arm that's right out in the open. But I agree that if that sari, or I'm sorry, I don't know the name of that fabric that she's wearing, the gown, were down so we saw both of the hands, it would be better. But on a 1 or 3 day wedding shoot, there'll be plenty of opportunities to have people hold their hands out and get close-up shots of the henna anyway. For me, actually, the most spectacular thing here is the fabrics and the embroidery and that kind of thing that's in the shot. And for that, I'd actually like to see his cuffs in a little bit more depth of field. So this is 50mm at f2.8. If you kept the focus on that, left arm of hers, then I'd probably like to see this at like f5.6. The background behind him still likely to be sufficiently soft, but that would get probably both of her hands and the start of his first hand. Scott Braddock, another one where dynamic range is going to challenge you, but this one looks like that it's been kind of crushed in the edit. It has no highlights and no real shadow, like true shadows. Let me just move us so that you can see it. Oh, that's the wrong one. Where is it? Promo. I'm going to put Steph under me rather than on top, and then you'll be able to see the histogram. So you see no real shadows and no real highlights. And that's difficult because they're wearing white and they have dark hair. So if nothing else, I would be wanting to open up the highlights. But I have a feeling, yeah, it's actually been blown out in before and brought back. So see, it's showing no highlights, but these leaves over here are already blown out. So it's just, that's part of the challenge of shooting in natural light on a wedding day in the direct sunlight. You know, the lighter foliage is going to blow out, the darker foliage will be in perfect shadow. Same with their dresses and dark features on their face. It is really challenging, but unfortunately in this case, if you didn't bracket your shots or get some underexposed, and if you didn't take along a flash to be able to have some control over the balance of light in your shot, this one, it'll still, I'm sure, print okay to a reasonable size, and the couple may not notice, but it is quite obviously blown out and being pulled back in post. We only have a handful more photos, so let's look at this one, then we'll jump back and answer any questions, so please.
I think there's only 2 more.
But I want to give people a chance to ask questions. If you have a question, send it in. If you don't, we won't answer any. Scott Westerly. Ah, they're in love. Very family-friendly kiss. It's always, like, it's funny when a wedding couple have a peck, but it's also kind of confronting when they have a really passionate tongue kiss in front of the whole family. I don't know which one is more or less authentic. This one, likewise.
Like, what do you do? What are you supposed to do?
I think it's a peck and a butt squeeze is kind of the modern standard, maybe. This is another one that has had the highlights brought right down. So you've got room to play there, but this one doesn't look like it's been blown out. It looks like it was shot on a diffuse light day. It's a pretty shot. There's not much to it. The people on the right sitting on the rocks don't add anything to it, but it's a reasonably simple, cute shot. We're seeing enough, you know, all of them is in focus from his flowers through to their face. I would have forgiven all of the stuff here on the right of frame, but whatever this is between their faces, the end of the pier or something, that could have easily been a small step to the right, and that would have been hidden behind his head. Any thoughts, Stefan?
Yeah, I think that was like my only issue. It was just like, oh, what is that?
It's like a little mechanical claw like going from his eye into her eye.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. But it looks like this isn't. This is more of like the time where you like actually can take photos of the bride and groom. So take advantage of the time that you have and actually like look at everything and just make adjustments. I'm sure like just keep telling them to kiss. They're fine with it. Just like, hey, just move over here, kiss again. Oh, move over a little bit more, kiss again.
Yes, nice. I don't see any. Dimple Poji is asking, nice headphones, Steph. Which band are you DJing for? Or more to the point, what brand are they?
Oh, that's a good question.
They're the blue ones.
I will look at Amazon.
They're blue. They're blue headphones. And blue. You can wear them when you're shooting down MiGs. Don't see any other questions. I can't really show it to you here because I don't want to get demonetized, but over at Art Nude Portraiture just this weekend, ending tomorrow. I have Steph and my implied nude portraiture 67% off, my Public Bodies book half price, and my erotic hotel shoot with Felicia 67% off. So learn.artnudeportraiture.com. You can see all of them there. And look at that, Cloud
I
Alpha.
found it.
There's 7.1. Oh my lord, you are fancy.
I forgot I still have the box. Why do I have the box? I'll figure it out later. I
Ta-da!
just knocked over a bunch of stuff. It's fine.
And Dimple Poji also asking, Matt, what do you think of Luminar Neo? I got the email to say that it had been released, but I haven't used it. I haven't upgraded to Neo. I don't know what's new in it, actually. I'm sorry. No doubt you'll be being hit with lots of people talking about it, because when it's new, they're offering, people get big commissions for sharing them, but I've not checked it out, and that's just the honest truth. Hi Loki, how are you? She's good. She says hi everyone. Okay, let's go back. Last pickies. Any more questions? Please let us know. This is nice. On their wedding bed. So he having them on kind of an even plane of focus is nice, that you can shoot it reasonably wide open and still get the important stuff in sharp focus. I quite like the treatment on it. It looks natural and wedding-y. I don't know, his gaze, would you have it at the camera, at her, or just to what he needs to do on Monday morning?
I was also gonna ask you the same thing, because it's just like, her eye contact is great, but I don't know what he's looking at, and I don't know what I would prefer.
I think I'm gonna have to repaint these ceiling rosés once we move in here.
Yeah. Maybe looking at her. I don't know if looking at camera.
But if looking at her, he would have to turn his head and then we wouldn't see his open face. Maybe just, I don't know. But I quite like it. I think it could come in
I like it too.
a tad more. Just, it's a minor thing. I think this is a really nice shot and I'm going to give it a pick. But I think coming in a little so it's not right there on the start of her hand looks a little bit uncomfortable here. Feels a little nicer. But yeah, nice shot. I'm sure the couple loved it. He's looking at the videographer. That's possible. Or who knows? One of the great mysteries. What are men thinking? Probably about what he wants for dinner. Or a wristwatch, or the job he needs to do on Monday morning, or the football match or something. So let's take a little look at our picks then.
Pickies.
Pick. Well, that's easy. There's 3. And they're all really good. Idamar Tef and the spread out dress. Jerry Winterston and the couple on the edge of the dam. And Karsten Larson, the couple on the bed. So, what do people at home think? I have chosen what I think are my 1, 2, 3 in order. Shall we choose just one each as winners, Steph?
Okay.
What's yours?
The dress.
So Idamar Tef?
Yes.
Excellent. Beautiful shot. And then it's really hard to separate these two out. Oh, gracious. What to do? They're both good in different ways. This one's so simple and close, and you could just shoot it in the reception venue. This one took a lot of effort to get there. Her stylist may be very pissed that she took a white dress into the mud. Imagine doing that, Steph. Just imagine the temerity
Yeah,
of doing
I
something like that.
know.
I
The
think
audacity.
intense. I think I need to give all 3 prizes. I'm copping out. All 3. Karsten
Hey,
Larsen, Jerry
good.
Winterstein, Idemar Teff, well done, all. And no women entrants
Congratulations,
this month. What the
guys.
heck? Come on, we need.
What?
I know.
For weddings?
Well, I didn't. But from the
Wow.
names, it didn't seem like it.
Huh.
Um, any other questions, folks? Um, I am heading off to shoot a video this afternoon with Honey, looking at this guy, which is the 50mm f2.8 macro lens. Is it going to focus on it? Is it? Hey, there we go. And I think I'll actually compare it to the one that is filming right now, which is the 50mm 1.8, also native. But just look at how little and tiny the actual central part is. 50mm 2.8, it's just a baby. And you can put your filter just on that little
Oh.
inner bit. Stop looking at me, I know I'm handsome, but you've got to look at the lens. There we go. Isn't that funny? Quite funny the way it pokes out like that. But anyway, and then tomorrow, I believe, if there isn't a typhoon, we're going on a boat trip with friends and then a lovely
Ooh.
seafood dinner. So, bougie life.
So bougie.
Sean Vine. Now, I think enough time has passed, Steph, and this has been resolved. We can share this. Sean just said Steph had the
Yes.
advantage of the dress not being hers. So shout out to Stella, who was our wedding. She's like a wedding producer, and she helped us with putting this together, getting the venue, getting some of the extras, loaning an incredible
She did
dress.
everything.
And there was a little issue. I don't need to go into details because everything worked out great and there's no need to point fingers, but there was a miscommunication about the dresses going off-site, and the dress owner did at one point consider sending us a bill because there were mud stains on the dress for the replacement of the dress, which my butt puckered up pretty tight and fast when I heard that. But fortunately, a few $100 at the
Yeah.
laundry and it was able to be salvaged. So whew, thank goodness for that.
That was so stressful. I was like, I tried really hard to keep it clean, and I had no idea we weren't even supposed to walk off site with it.
And, well, yeah, that was the sticking point. We were given permission to go off-site. And we actually hadn't been told what the dress was worth. I was thinking it was like an $800 or $1,200 dress, not a at a zero type price.
Bags are so expensive.
Darren is asking, what gears will you recommend for a student? It really depends what you want to shoot, my friend, and what your budget is. But shoot with what you have or what you can afford if you're a real beginner. Otherwise, if you want some specific feedback, then get back to us in the future with a specific question about what you're looking to shoot. So thank you all for joining us. Nice quick one. Get your street-themed photos
Yeah.
in. I will update the webpage now to the new theme. And we'll coordinate to figure out what day is going to work best for next week. But it may be back on the Saturday night, Sunday morning time, rather than this one, which is Friday night, Saturday morning. So thank you, Steph. My best to Timmy and everyone. And I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.
TikTok? You all soon? What?
TikTok, and you don't
Oh,
stop.
Jesus.
Yes, my child.
Bye,
Ciao.
everyone.